Look at that, it's got a magnet. Look how strong that is. Okay. Good evening. Welcome back to Frugal Outdoors with myself, Dylan. And what a stunning evening to be out fishing. I'm really chuffed. The sun is shining, the water's crystal clear. So yeah, I'm happy to be out. Hope everyone's doing all right. But it's time to get a bait in the water. So the first thing I've done, as soon as I got down here, my bait's still frozen, so I've got a few squid and a couple of spider crab straight out to defrost. Now I'm hopefully meeting up with Nick later, and we're going to be really trying to target a bass. I'm only fishing at Norton Wall, as you can see behind me. That's Fort Victoria Pier behind me there, and over the other side you got Yarmouth Pier over that way. So super easy venue. You can see on the way down it literally takes what, 30 seconds if that to walk down to the market itself. With it being so clear and so sunny, first off I'm just going to have a quick bash and see if I can't pull out a bream. I don't know when Nick's going to turn up, maybe half hour, but in the meantime I'm going to quickly see if I can't winkle out a bream, and then we'll probably be focusing on the bass. I've got a bit of a confession. I did sneak out last week because I had another video, because I did a comp. I snuck out without the camera and I did get a bass, so I'm hoping to try and get another one tonight. Also had a smooth hand. We were just freelining the crab in really close, and we both nailed a couple of fish. So I'm going to get a rod set up real quick, quickly show you a bait, get a 2-hook flapper out there, and then sit down, enjoy the sunshine, and hopefully get a fish. I'll see you in a second. Oh, there we go. It is super bright. I'm looking directly into the sun at the moment. So all I'm fishing with today, just like I said, it's only for the meantime. So I'm just going to fish basically with a 2-hook flapper. It's all tied knots again. I haven't done anything fancy. I'm not using any swivels or anything like that. It's a really cheap and easy rig to make. I'm fishing with a 6-ounce gripper because I think we've still got about 2 hours of the flood, and when it does start to turn here, it can come through quite hard. So I'm using a 6-ounce gripper to start with. I'm going to be fishing with my Daiwa Air Surf. Like I said, I just want to get a quick bait in the water, and then we'll focus on actually targeting the desired species, which is a bass, but let's have a go for a bream while we can. And I'm just going to literally just chuck a couple of strips of squid on there and get fishing. But that is my rig. Super simple 2-hook flapper. I've got size 2 chenus on there, little glowy bead yellow one, and that's it. God, I nearly thought I forgot my scissors in. So these are just to frost enough to basically, well, it's a bit frozen down there, but it'll be all right. I'll stick that bit on the bottom. I'd say these have been, it's just a little part bag that I've had kicking around. So I'm just cutting little strips, about 10 mil, maybe a little tiny bit over, all the way for the whole tube. And then all I'm doing is literally, I'm just going to loop it on, loop and turn, pull it over the knot, and then that is it. Let that flutter around in the tide. So there we go. 2 little strips of squid just hanging off there. And you see what I mean? This is why I like this rod. Hopefully it will pick it up. It's really tippy. I mean, look at that. I fold it into nearly a 90-degree bend there. Just in the top sort of 600 mil or so. Really like this rod. And for me, like I say, it's a lot easier to cast because I am no caster. But having said that, let's get it out, shall we? So I'm going to give it a bit of a whack, try and get it out there a little bit. I haven't got my glove on, so we'll see how it goes. Very high, very high. Trying to muck around too much with my cast, I think that's the problem at the moment. I should just stick to what I know and just chuck it out. But anyway, there we go. We've got bait in the water. So actually, as you can see, even though it's not high tide yet, that's swung right round to the left, which basically means we got a bit of a back eddy on tonight. You can see it bouncing there. Just back eddying before it actually finally turns. What it will probably do is do a little bit of this, then it will chill out a little bit, then it might move back up again, and then it will start going back out properly later. But at the moment, yeah, that swung round quite a bit actually. So I'm definitely enjoying fishing with my mono again at the moment. And I think that's pretty much all I've got today. I haven't got a spare spool with me or anything. It's not snaggy down here. I don't anticipate losing any gear at all. But what it does mean is I will be using that later for my bass fishing, which is a bit heavy. It's a 25-pound low diameter with a 60-pound straight through leader on there. But I don't know. I mean, we're going to be free lining again. I have got my bass rod. I'll be using my bass rod later. But for a minute, that will do nicely. Do you know what? I don't even think I'm going to get a spare rig tonight. Maybe later. But for a minute, I think I'm just going to sit on my backside and enjoy the sunshine. Look at that, it's got a magnet. Look how strong that is. Okay. Right, so Nick's just turned up and he's telling me we should be fishing for bass straight away, not mucking around after a bream. So with that in mind, I put together my bass rod, which is the Zolcron bass 396. So it's 13 foot long. It's quite long for a bass rod, but like I said, I did get one on it the other day, and if I do get into something big, like we said, we did get into a couple of smooth hounds as well. So if we do get a smooth hound, then this is going to handle it as well quite well. So I'm going to quickly chuck a reel on it. It's fixed, the reel seat's fixed in place, so I can't put it wherever I want, but to be honest, that's going to be fine for me anyway. I'm fixed spool all the way, so I'm going to chuck a reel on there real quick, and then I'm going to get some bait sorted, and we're going to flick one out straight away. But let's do that. Right, so I've just peeled one of those spider crabs, and Nick's just come up with some primo bait. But what I'm going to do is I'm not cutting it in half. Even though it's massive, I am going to fish with a massive bait. But I'm just using those scissors. You can see there, I've just cut the stomach, just the stomach, left the sort of the new back shell, and then I can folded it over, so when I bind it, all that gunk is all on show, and it will be leaching out there. And then all I'll do is, because this will wash out quite a bit, I'll probably just keep piggybacking half a crab onto the back of it. I'm fishing with 5.0 BMX and a 6.0 full circle hook. And the reason for the big bait as well is because we're not using any lead, so we're literally just free lining. So we're just going to put that on my hooks. I've got a bunch of traces made up that have just got a swivel on the end, and it's just going straight on the end of my main line, and we're just flicking it straight out. So there we go, look at that, what a bait. So I'm just going to put that 5.0 just in the back, bring it down so it's nice and proud. It's going to be sticking right out there. I'll bind that on, and then I'll bring my 6.0 down and stick it in the top. Now Nick was saying most of the time when the bass is hooked, it's going to be on that top hook, so on your pennel. And a lot of people I've seen will just fish with just that 6.0 or a 7.0 or an 8.0 big hook just in the top of the bait. But you know what? I'm bass fishing for dinner tonight. I don't want to lose one. So if I've got that extra hook there at the bottom, then I stand a better chance of not losing it. Having said that, I did miss a few the other night, but we won't talk about that. Oh, mate, that just ran off, didn't it? And that 6-0 is going straight on as quickly as I can, because Nick's just had a bite straight away. Bait's only been in the water for maybe 3 minutes. There we go, look at that oozing. I'm not going to bother. I would normally put a few of the peeled crab legs on the side of it, but I'm not going to bother. Just going to get it back in the water, or not back in the water, but get it in the water. So what did you flick it out, about 30, 40 yards? Hey? Is yours swung round to the left? So I'll just flip mine straight out front. Right, so I'm just literally just going to flick this straight out there, maybe 30-ish yards. Slow it down, 20 yards. So essentially the idea is, and trust me, I am no expert in this. Nick's done this 1,000 times more than I have. I think I've only had a go 2 times before. It's literally get your bait out in the water. Your bait is your lead, so you need quite a decent sized bait, some big hooks, and just let it roll around and swing around in the tide. Whether it brushes up against the rocks or whatever, just leave it. Let it do its own thing. Make sure your drag is off, or like Nick, he's using a bait runner. And then let it go. And then reel into it, and hopefully there's a fish on the end. That's the way I look at it. Just strike and hopefully there's a fish. There's a lot more to it than that. That's what Nick says anyway. But I'm going to bring this second rod in a second and just forget about it, because otherwise it could get too complicated. There we go. So literally all I've done is I've stuck some crab legs on there. There's still a bit of squid left on it. Chuck some crab legs on there and we'll just flick this out. But I know some of you will be thinking, silly man, fishing with 2 rods when there's a bass bait in the water. And I probably am, be honest, but I would like to get a bream if I can. Too far. Oh, held on to that a bit. It's not very far at all. I suppose sometimes when it's like when you get those few little taps, could be just a fish swimming around the bait as well, couldn't it? Just having a, yeah, just a few little taps. It was little.
Yeah, sometimes it's wrasse.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if it picked it up on mic, but Nick was just saying it could be wrasse as well. Just get some small ones in close, just having a little peck. But the beauty with the free lining is you're in direct contact with that fish. Like I say, both times I've done it, I've had a bass. And it's very, very different. It's a very different style of fishing. I'm still not used to it at all. But it's really exciting to do. Which is basically why when I've done it, every time I've done it before, I've done it with Nick. So I can pick his brains while we're fishing. Yeah? Oh, Nick's just got into his first fish. It's only his second cast. Definitely looks like a bass, doesn't it?
Looks that or a wrasse. It looked dark, didn't it? So I'm not sure. Big old wrasse, isn't it?
Is it?
No,
no, it's a lovely bass, mate.
There's only beach down there.
Oh, mate, that's a beauty fish. Look at it. See it's cutting through. I've got my wellies on anyway, mate.
Mark it down on that lip down there still. Down in this corner.
Yeah, yeah. Whoa, mate, what a fish. What a fish. There you go, mate. Look at that. What a beauty fish. And you can see the size of the baits that we're
Nice
using
bait.
there. Look, they're
Top
massive. Top hook. How big do you reckon that? It's got to be close to £4, do you reckon?
Yeah, good 3.5 or so, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Beauty fish, mate. Well done. First one of the
Nice one, mate.
session. Nice. Well, there we go. Nick's just done a proper show me how it's done. Oh, hello. Is that mine going? A few little knocks. Yeah, beautiful bass. 3.5 to £4. Lovely bass for the table. Oh, absolutely stoked. That's given me a lot of hope. It's super early. He's only had a bait in the water for maybe 20 minutes. And all he's done is he's kept on recasting it, let it swing round in the tide. He'll leave it there for 5–10 minutes, and then he's chucked it out again. It's a second cast with the same bait. Let it swing round, and away it went. Good work, mate. Got to be happy with that, haven't you?
Yeah, all day, mate.
Right, I think I'm going to bring this other rod in.
Nice to see him running through the water as well.
Oh yeah, it's so nice, it's so clear, isn't it? Right, I'm going to bring this rod in. I'm going to get it out of the way because I feel like it could just be a nuisance more than anything else. I'm going to put all of my focus and all of my energy into that one rod. So what would you do there now then, Nick? Because that's gone a couple of times. Would you just bring it in, freshen it up again?
Just give it a couple of twitches or so, then just leave it there, mate. See if he's still moving down around, and if not, yeah, freshen it up.
Oh. Yeah, he's definitely still there then. That took a bit of line. Trying to put this rig away. There we go. Give it a couple of little winds. Dragged it across the bottom a little bit. You might have seen it move. But yeah, I was literally just saying to Nick about whether I should think about putting a bit of fresh crab on the side of it. And literally, as I said that, it went again. So something's there, having a good feel of it. Really want to get this rig away because I don't want it sitting around on the floor in case any dogs come by. Right, I am going to change this. I'm going to do it. Do it gently. Yes, right in front of us, that is now. Oh, I just did that. And something just had to go. It's right on my bait.
So clear, innit?
I gave that a couple of winds and then it went in my hand. No, I'm going to do it. Oh, mate, I've got a wrasse. Look at the size of that bait compared to that fish. Absolutely massive. That's a wrasse.
A wrasse?
A wrasse, yeah, ballan wrasse.
Ah, okay. Oh.
They do get much. Ow, 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 ow. That's my hook. There we go. Yeah, let's get this one unhooked and get it back in.
Oh, well done.
So there we go. Little ballan with a hook, or sorry, with a bait. Ah! There we go. Little ballan wrasse on a bait nearly as big as the fish. There's no way that was going to get in its mouth. God, I nearly had a, just talking about the hooks, nearly had an accident with it then.
Easily done though, innit?
Oh, mate, I really thought it could have been it then. Right, let's change this one up for a fresh one, I think. Do I, or just...
What the hell's that on there?
Just because you've had a lovely bass, mate. So I've decided just to piggyback half a crab This is an absolutely whopping great big bait now, but as Nick's just proved, they do take a nice big bait, and basically what they're feeding on is what we're putting out there. So even though if I was to put half of this out there, they're feeding on whole peeler crabs, whole spider peeler crabs. So basically all we're doing is imitating the stuff that they're feeding on. And I might just stick a couple of legs on my bottom hook just to add a little bit of something. Oh yeah, that's the first wrasse I've caught this year.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been a bit bigger, couldn't it? There we go, look at the size of that. It's absolutely huge. You can see those legs just hanging off. But now I haven't got that other rod, it means I can focus a bit better on this. Splap. So there we go, look, you can see. Cut that open, and then I'll just fold it around so all of those juices, all the gunk, all the jipper, as Nick says, can get easy access to come out. It will wash out a bit quicker doing this, but it will get a lot of scent in the water very, very quick. And as you can see, when I'm binding it up, look at all of that. And then what I'll do this time, because I've got a bit of time, and what I've noticed Nick doing is he's actually binding the legs onto that. I think he's putting his hooks in first and then binding them on. So I'll do that so the legs are just sort of dangling off the side. And there we go. So all I'm doing, look, putting that 5/0 in, so that's going to be nice and proud there. Bind that on first, and then I'm going to grab a couple of those legs, because I've been peeling the legs as well. We'll bind a couple of legs onto the side. There we are. So basically, get it in the light. They'll be hanging down there like that, and then bind the rest of it up. Beauty. That's a nice looking bait. And then I'll just stick that circle hook right in the top, so it's nice and proud out the top there, and then we've got some nice legs hanging off the side, and then we'll get it out. And all these bits that we're cutting off, they won't go to waste. I'm going to cut those into smaller bits, and then we'll chuck those straight back out there. We're fishing in so close today, and because that tide is swinging our baits around, back basically underneath the wall, right underneath where we're sitting really, all this lot will just hopefully get that scent going, get a few fish in front of us. There we go. Go up there a bit so it washes down tide. Well, it's definitely swinging round in the tide now, isn't it? Yeah, it's getting nippy. Just chucked my jumper on. I realised that my mic came with a magnet, so I can have it there. Hopefully the sound's a little bit better. It doesn't sound like I'm eating the microphone. So how long do you reckon we've been fishing? Maybe an hour and a half? Oh, he's snagged. I reckon we've been fishing for maybe an hour and a half. And that light is starting to drop now, so it must be time we're getting on a bit. So I think we're probably contemplating having a little move, a little bit of a change up. Oh, he says, just had a bite. I was saying that, I've just got a knock. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, we're thinking about possibly having a little move. I think Nick's possibly thinking about having a look. I keep looking over to my left, and I think I really want to have a little go over there. Yeah, Nick's one up on me. Well, two really. He's had 2 runs and he's landed 1 fish. I've not had any runs. I've had a wrasse. So technically we're level.
Oh, come on.
Technically we're level pegging because we've had 1 fish each. But mine's not a bass. I won't be taking mine home for dinner. Just moved my rod a minute ago and the blimmin' something took some line, so I'm just going to recast it. There we go. But that tide is really moving now. So I've got loads of tide movement, so I'm casting out, it's swinging right round to my left. And basically what it does is it swings it in really close to the rocks and close to this wall, with the anticipation that the bass are basically following that line of rocks and following the wall. But likewise, so are conger and stuff, and I think we both had a couple of congers and smooth hounds last time trying this, so. Does it matter if you're casting into the rocks and stuff then, or? Well, like, say, for instance, like just over here, it looks quite dark. It looks like there's quite a lot of rocks and stuff down there.
No, just every now and again, just lift your bait.
Yeah.
Make sure your line don't get wrapped around a rock. That's normally how you get snagged, is your line just wraps around a rock.
I suppose those bass are just going in and just...
Yeah, looking for the crab, yeah.
Right, we're gonna have a quick move, very quick move. Gonna go down to a place called Sandard, which I've fished at before. I videoed it before. So we're gonna have a quick shift down there, take our gear down, and hopefully see if we can't get into another bass. See if I can't get a bass. Nick's had a bass. He shouldn't even bother coming really, but I'm gonna go down there. Maybe Nick will come too, because he's got all the bait. So there we go, we've literally just quickly walked down. It's taken only maybe 5 minutes, probably more like 15 minutes for me because I've had to pack all my gear up. But this little area is called Sandard, and Nick's just fishing in. Basically, you've got a bunch of groins. I'm in the first one, Nick's in the next one, and hopefully we can try and get us a bass. I'm just going to flick it out. It's the same bait I was using a minute ago. There we go. And hopefully we can get one. Just gonna rest my rod there. Keep an eye on it. Oh, picking up a bit of weed. Right. Do you know what I'm gonna do? Quickly, I'm just gonna quickly change that. I've picked up a bit of surface weed straight away, so I'm just gonna have my rod just a little bit higher. There we go. Now I've been down here before with my wetsuit, seeing if I could find some crab, which I couldn't as it happens. Didn't find any at all. But I know there's some rocks out there, and also past the rocks there's a bit of sand. So I'm hoping I'm casting over the other side, essentially, into the sandy area. Fingers crossed we are. It's a bit of a bank down there. Fingers crossed we are, and we can try and get a fish. It's always the way, isn't it? I mean, Nick had that literally on his second cast. He'd only been fishing for 20 minutes. Oh, so you get really high hopes straight away. Let's turn you around so you can actually see the rod, because it just went. Ooh. Giving it a bit more just to make sure really that I'm not in that nasty stuff, because I know there is some nasty stuff out there. Oh, oh, oh. That was a nice big hit. The sky over there is amazing. Getting a bite. I was just literally just thinking about moving actually. I think I still might, because this dip here is pretty annoying. Oh, it's had all the legs off the bottom. Yeah, so basically, whatever it was, it's taken all the legs off it. So all I've done is I've just wrapped half a crab up the side. So hopefully we can get whatever it is. I might move in a second, but we'll see. Seems silly to move if I'm getting a couple of bites, you know. I will quickly spin you around, show you the sun though. Well, not the sun, but the sky. Not going to give up hope just yet. When I had that one the other night, it was dark. It was like 11 o'clock. We've only just about hit 9:30, so there's definitely still time. Still got a chance of hopefully landing that bass. We've got the bait, we've got primo bait. And this feels like a pretty good spot. Would be better if there was a little bit more chop. Last week there was a bit more chop on the surface. It was a bit windier. And we were battling the wind a little bit, to be honest. We had the wind against tide, so the baits weren't really moving a whole bunch, but we did get into some fish. Got into some smoothhounds, some congers, and I did get that bass. So I still feel like it could happen. Like I say, Nick's had one, so they're out there. Even though the conditions might not be the best, the water's pretty clear. But he did land one earlier, so they're definitely out there. I'll stick that tip light on in a minute. It's a shame really, I can't, might have to move the camera and everything in a second. Just so I can get a light, and then at least I can face the light away from the sea. I have got this nice seawall here anyway, but I really don't want to be casting any shadows on the water, certainly when it's clear as this. Right, let's peel another crab. Oh, up in there. Oh, hello. Hello. Got some lines going slack. Getting a couple of nods again then. Just it's just peeling a crab. Oh, oh, oh. Still going, look. Hey, same thing, mate. I think I've got an eel going. So I'm going to do the same as Nick. Nick was having an eel bite. Probably a little strap or something, and he's moved his, recast it. So I'm going to do the same before it destroys my rig. Either that, I'm going to pull the bait straight out of the bass's mouth. No, nothing on there. Hooks are all still nice and proud, so let's get that straight back out. Now it could be dangerous because I've cast it further down tide, and then I know there's a whole bunch of rocks down there, but I'm not getting much luck here. Nick's just walked off further down the beach, but with all this stuff I'm not going to move. I'm just going to stay here. Hopefully we can winkle one out. Can but try anyway, can't we? Well, I've got it back, but it's definitely picked up some weed being out there. Oh, it'd be nice to get a bite around now. We were getting so many bites when we were over at the other mark, but then everything really slowed up. As soon as the tide turned on the ebb, which is quite often a really good time to catch bass, but for us, it just wasn't happening, so we've moved. As soon as we got here, we had a couple of taps, and now nothing again. But it's really quite tiring doing this style of fishing. Normally when you're casting out the bait, you cast your bait out, you sit down, you can have a yak. I miss bites, but you know what? Quite often it doesn't really matter. I might miss a couple of fish, but generally they're on. But with the bass fishing, when you're fishing like this with no leads or anything, it's much harder. I keep contemplating on putting on an earth rig or a running ledger rig, but I'm gonna try and hold out and just fish like this for the rest of the night. I've done it so far, and it did work the other night. But yeah, it's tough. But it's that anticipation, having to watch it all the time. It's quite stressful. But when that rod goes, the rush, the adrenaline is amazing. So hopefully we can get that on camera. Like I say, it's difficult. I have got a light on. It is difficult. I'm fishing to my left, but the light is casting shadow to my right. So it is a hard style of fishing to try and get on camera properly, but I'm sure other people have probably done it before and probably done it very well, better than I'm doing it. But we'll keep sissing, we'll keep chucking that bait out. Nick said he'll give me a call if he gets anything down there or if he gets any runs. If so, we may well move down there, but I don't know. I'm quite happy just to stick it out here and just keep our fingers crossed that eventually something comes along. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Where is he? Still having a little go at it. Just moved it a little bit, see if I can entice a bite. Ooh, there we go, there we go. Go on. Yeah. Don't know what it is. I think it might just be a conger. It's come straight in. It's conger, isn't it?
Yeah, bastard.
Yeah. Bugger. Bugger. Oh. It's got that whole crab down there, you know. There we go. I'm going to show you because it's the first fish I've had for a while. So I'm going to get it straight back in, get a fresh bait out there, and see if we can't actually get the target species, which is not a conger eel, especially one of that size. Ah, but it's nice to get a fish anyway, I must admit. Ah, tiny little things make such a mess of everything, but actually this one's not too bad. I jinxed that, I think, saying that basically I hadn't had a conger bite hadn't even had a conger bite for ages, I think was my exact words. And lo and behold, we get a conger. So I think what I should be saying is, on this cast, is I haven't had a bass bite for a while. Right, let's get it out. So what I'm doing is I'm basically, I've got a groin to my right of me, and at the end, obviously, there's one of those sort of posts with a green triangle on the end of it. You might even be able to make it out on the camera, I'm not sure, but. So I'm sort of casting just to the left of that. It's still swinging around, but I figure that if there's any fish coming over, some of them obviously will just come over the groin because there's quite a bit of water there, but I'm thinking some of them will be swimming around and sort of then following that line back into this cove. So hopefully, like I say, we can get something, but I'm going to keep persisting. Ooh. What we got now? Oh no! Ah! Thought we had some. Oh, I have got something. What is it? It's super small. Again, I think it. Oh! Oh, it's another strap conger. Oh, mate. Oh, there we go. He's unhooked himself. Oh. Oh, damn it. Cool, definitely made a mess of that. Oh, mate, I really thought we were in then. But fortunately, he unhooked himself, so another half a crab. Come on, this time. This one. Nice bass. It looks so bassy on the other side of this wall. There's loads of rocks there, there's loads of weed. We've got another wall over there. It's quite an enclosed little bay. And it feels like there should be bass in here. So last time we came out doing the free lining, I travelled really light. I literally just had a backpack, one reel, one rod, and a bucket full of bait, and that was it. So it's super easy to move. Whereas it's not quite so easy as that tonight. I've got my full box, I've got 3 rods. I don't know why I brought everything. I should have just travelled light again. So it makes me not want to move, where really I should just move and put the effort in. We'll give this one 10 minutes and then I'll quickly move. Right, I'm moving. Nick's just given me a ring. He's just dropped one on the other side. He's literally first cast out and he's had a run. So I'm going to quickly grab my gear, get on over there and hopefully bring you back in a second. Right, yeah, it's a little bit different. So literally just come round, Nick's just had a bite. He's over there. I'm trying to be really conscious of the light. It's very difficult to try and film and do this at the same time, but we'll do our best. So if you don't see it, it's because I didn't edit it. Right, let's check this out. So basically what I'm going to do this time is sit here with it in my hands, because that way at least I can have the camera facing this way, keep as much light off the water as I possibly can. Make sure I've got my drag off. There we go. See what happens. Yeah, hopefully, let's say, I think I'm only going to give it another half an hour. It's 11 o'clock now. Both of us said, oh, we'll knock it on the head at 11. But it's just had a run. It's normally a much prettier venue, in all fairness. You don't normally have the railings behind us. Well, I think I'm going to call it. It's half 11. Right, so we're packing up. It's 11:30. We gave it another half an hour here. Nick had 2 really good runs, dropped them both. It's been a really difficult session for me tonight, in all honesty. You get that buzz, that hope. I mean, it's so good when you're fishing next to somebody else and they're actually catching a fish, especially a bass, because it gives you the hope. I've still got a rod there, which is why I keep looking up. Gives you the hope that you're going to get one yourself. But it just didn't happen for me tonight. And it was exactly the same the other way around the other night. I've managed to land one. I had a few really good runs, missed them. I hooked a couple, dropped them. Nick had a load of runs, missed them. But yeah, just couldn't get one tonight, unfortunately. So I do hope you enjoyed it. I suppose I had a wrasse and I had a couple of strap congers, which wasn't what we came out for. But it's really difficult moving around with a camera when you're fishing like this. And I'll probably think of a few more excuses as well that I can try and come up with to excuse the fact that I didn't catch a bass. But that's it. Till the next one anyway. Please take care, stay safe, and maybe I'll see you out there. Cheers.